All right, so we've reached day 14 of the grid. Now, I said that I'd be updating you every 10 days. I've been slacking a little bit on that. As you can see, I've reached day 14 so far. But I'm going to give you a little update on what I've been doing for the past 14 days. Now, like I said, I wasn't going to drink. I've kept my word to that. And I said I was going to exercise consistently. And I've also kept my word in doing that. So every day I've done something. Except one day last week on Friday, I rested. But on that day as well, like I said, what I would do on the rest days is minimize my calories. I'd remain in a calorie deficit. And on the days where I would train, I would increase my calories so that I would feed the muscle. Now that's key, especially when we're trying to lose weight. But something that I've noticed is it's pretty easy for me to stick to my regimen because I haven't got any distractions. Now, my main distraction on my previous 70-day grid was when I would drink. And what would happen is the following day, I would feel lazy. And being lazy caused me to relax. And being relaxed caused me to eat junk food. Well, not necessarily junk food, but a lot of food in excess that wasn't necessarily the healthiest. And then that would also cause me to slack on my exercise. I wouldn't be training as hard or as long. And so now I realize that when I am clear of all of that, it's really easy for me to get up early in the morning on weekends to exercise and to not give in to the temptation of late night snacking. And that is a real defining factor in how my progress is going, because it's those late night meals that cause us to store all this extra fat, because we don't just have a little bit at night, we have a lot. And those calories all get stored as fat. Now, I'm enjoying the process so far. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy. I've got energy. I've got motivation to go to the gym. I mean, I've been going to the gym, 3-4 times a week. I would like to go more, but time is also a factor. So I do train at home as well. I got a little home gym that I created. That's relatively cheap. Cost me something like 200 euros in total, I think 250 euros in total to get all the equipment. That means that I can exercise whenever I want. But there is something that I do like about the gym. I don't know what it is. I guess it says I change environment, and then I'm motivated by all of these machines and weights, and just like a big playground, I guess. And I want to push myself when I'm in the gym. I've also moved myself from my house to another location specifically to work out. And I guess that pushes me. Now, let's have a look at what I've done so far in the grid. So, like I said, the best way to start the 70 days is to fast, especially if we've been kind of unhealthy for the past month, 2 months, year, whatever it may be. A good 24-hour to 48 fast to kick everything off is amazing. Why? Because it allows us to get rid of that bloated look. And once we've gotten rid of that bloated look, that motivates us to then continue, because we already see immediately a response to what we're doing. There's a reaction to what we're doing. So the fact that we've de-bloated, we look a lot better. You know, our face, our stomach, all of that, it definitely does do something psychologically to motivate us to go on. And all I did was drink water as well during those first 24, I think I did a 40-hour fast. All I did was drink water. So then the following day, I did a 40-minute weight session of chest, back, and legs. And like I said, every day I'm fasting consistently. Like fasting, intermittent fasting is a key factor in these next 70 days, because there's a lot of health benefits and it helps us burn fat as well. And so every day I'm fasting. Now, like I say, if I happen to eat a meal late at night, well, then I have to take that into account, and that's going to push my fast out longer into the day or later into the day the following day. For example, on the second day, I seem to have broken my fast at 3:30. So I think I probably had my last meal at something like 10 or 11, because the following day after that, my fast was pushed out till 4. Now also sometimes you may forget to eat, because that's the other benefit of this, is that we realize that eating isn't necessarily the most important thing in our day. There's other things to do. You know, we got work to do, we can focus on that. We got chores to do, we can focus on that. And food isn't the primary focus. So as we start getting used to fasting, we start realizing that we think less and less about food. And that's quite good, because then it puts it all into perspective as to what are we really doing when we're snacking mindlessly all day long. It's not a necessary evil that we need to have in our days. And those calories, those excess calories, are not necessarily the best calories either. Those are the things that really damage our progression. And like I say, if we're trying to remain in a 200, 300, 400, or 500 calorie deficit, those little bits and pieces that we snack on during the day might just knock us out of that deficit. For example, if I have a Snickers bar, it's like 250 to 300 calories. If I have a biscuit here and there, each biscuit is like 75 to 100 calories. So that's going to mean that if I have a chocolate bar and then a couple of biscuits, I'm out of my deficit. And if I haven't exercised that day, I'm at maintenance, and no progression is happening. Nothing's taking place. I'm just stagnating. And we want to be moving in the right direction, especially to keep ourselves motivated, because every day we want to see an incremental change in the right direction when we look in the mirror or when we hop on the scale. And all of this plays a big part. So that's what fasting can give us. It stops us from snacking mindlessly. It makes us more aware of what we eat, because when the window opens, we're ready, we know what's up, and we just eat the foods that we have put in front of us, and it helps us stay in that deficit. So that's why fasting is key. Now, each day, again, fasting, I'm hitting the gym, I'm going for runs, I'm doing HIIT exercises, HIIT training, HIIT sessions. And that's what I've been doing for the past 14 days, and the results speak for themselves. Now, I guess the thing that we need to take into account is motivation. We need to stay motivated on our journey of 70 days. Now, the best way to stay motivated is to remember that if we are in this calorie deficit for 4 days, 5 days running, we need to kind of eat in a surplus. So that means that, yes, we can finally have those meals that we're craving. Let's not go overboard and explode those calories to 10,000 calories, but let's eat like 3, 4, maybe 5,000 calories in that day. And that's going to help our hormonal balance not crash and burn, because that's what happens when we go into starvation mode. And when our hormones start declining in their performance, that means that we are going to decline in our progress, and that's something we really want to kind of get a hold of. So that's a motivator. You know, if after 4 or 5 days you look at that 5th day as a reward, as your cheat meal, well, then that's going to keep you happy, healthy, and you're not going to be mentally broken, because you'll be thinking of food left, right, and center, of all the things that you're missing out on, and you won't be missing out on anything. Now, I'm going extreme here. I'm trying to minimize my calories. I'm trying to control my calories. I'm trying to exercise as much as possible. I'm fasting as much as possible. I'm doing all of these things. I'm not drinking. So it's kind of, I mean, I'm going out less, which is good, because when you control your environment, in my house or in other places now that don't involve alcohol, I'm controlling my environment, because in those other environments, like if you go into a bar environment, you're going to be exposed to all of these snacks. And let's not forget the booze, which is like 300-400 calories per pint, along with those crisps, which are going to be a couple of 100 calories per bag. So you can't really control that environment. And then what happens after? So the more you can control your environment, the better it will be. And this is what all these books on building habits or behavioral economics, they all talk about controlling one's environment in order to get as much success as possible in what it is that you're trying to achieve. Now, what does that mean by controlling the environment? Well, for example, if I want to control my environment to be a healthier one, I'd remove all the junk food and biscuits and fast food or whatever it may be from my kitchen, from the cupboards. There would be none of that. In my household, I would keep it clean, healthy, and nutritious. That's what I want. Because then that means that if I want to eat something unhealthy, I'd have to leave my house and go to the shop and buy it. And the fact that I have to expend all of that energy to go do that just to get a snack is going to put me off. I'm going to look for an alternative in the house. So some nuts, some carrots, an apple, fruit, whatever it may be, I will look for it in the house, because just the mental thought of having to go to the store and get this stuff is going to put me off. And that's how we control our environment. Also at work, how do you control your environment? Well, when it comes time to go get a coffee, if it's the time where you usually also give into a snack from the vending machine, then the best thing to do would probably be to take a different route and walk around, or walk to a friend and chat to that friend so that you take up your time instead of passing by that temptation of the vending machine. You have to try and bring some snacks in so that you can start feeding yourself before you give into the vending machine. There's many things that we can do, but basically preparation is key. Planning ahead is key. And when we can control the environment, we can really get the maximum results out of what we're trying to achieve. So there's a few things that I've done. Now, we also need to keep our sanity, so have a few treats on hand that are the healthier option. For example, I do enjoy chocolate, so I'll have the 75 to 80% dark chocolate. I enjoy it. I've learned to like it. And what's not to like? There's more flavor, it's more intense. Some people say it's a little bit more bitter, but what I've realized is if you don't go over 90%, you're fine. It tastes good. And you eat less of it as well. And then get the nice fruits that you enjoy, whether it be bananas, kiwis, or mangoes. I don't know which one you like. I like all fruits, so that's a benefit for me. And then figuring out the exercise routines. Walking is great, running is good. Resistance training has shown and has been proven to be the best way to burn fat. Why? Because we're building muscle. And when we build muscle, that makes our body turn into a sort of furnace, because we need to feed that muscle mass and we need to use more calories to feed that muscle mass. So that means that when we're resting, those calories are being put to use to feed the muscle. So that's the best way to do it. And when we do too much cardio, we lose muscle mass. So we're not burning as many calories as we should be when we're resting. So that's why we need to find a good, healthy balance between cardio and resistance training. And that's why I'm only running twice a week. Okay, so I run 2 times a week and I try and hit the gym 4 to 5 times a week. Now I'm hitting it roughly 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm doing HIIT sessions as well. So HIIT sessions are great because you're going to be building muscle definition and it's cardio. So I would say if you can try and figure out a good fitness routine that involves high intensity interval training that lasts anywhere from 20 minutes to half an hour, you'll be crushing it. Now, what does a high intensity interval training session involve? Is anything from burpees to push-ups to squats to jump squats to lunges to alternating lunges to pull-ups to sprints to high knees. There's a whole, to mountain climbers. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. And what you want to do is 30 seconds on, you go full out, you really just push yourself to the point where you feel like vomiting or fainting. That's the goal, at least. Not to vomit or faint, but to feel like you've really burnt yourself, like you've burnt up these calories, that you've used your body, and then you rest for anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half. Now, what I do now is, because I don't know if I want to say quite advanced, but I have my routine. So what I'll do is for 30 seconds, I will do burpees all out. So I do about 10 burpees for 30 seconds. And then I rest for 30 seconds. And then I'll do another 10 burpees. And then I'll rest for 30 seconds. And I'll do that for 10 minutes. So I fit in 100 burpees in 10 minutes. And then I'll take a minute to 2 minute break. You can even take a 3-minute break. Give you time to rest. And then I'll go into something else. So maybe I'll do some clean and jerks. I'll do 10 times 10. Or I'll do some mountain climbers to planks. Or I'll do some high knees. Or I'll do any variation of like jump squats to lunges. Anything that gets the heart pumping and the muscles burning is going to give you great results. And it's going to build some definition, build some muscle mass, and burn some fat. So I'm going to put a list of what can be done at the end of this video. There's a whole bunch of things. I've realized that some people have been reaching out and they've been asking me to kind of show what I'm doing. You know, like what exercises am I doing? What food am I doing? Or am I eating? Am I cooking? And on my Instagram, I'm showing some of that, but I could try a little bit harder and show the times when I'm eating. I started writing those down. So for example, you know, I break my fast at 12:30. And here I broke my fast at 3:30. Did I start writing my last meals? I haven't started to write the last meal. Here, last meal was at 9. Following day, first meal was at 12:30. So it was a bit of a short fast. Last meal was at midnight. Following day, first meal was at 4 p.m. You get the gist. 16 hours is the amount of time I fast. It's the minimum amount of time that I fast, and that should be what everyone aims for when they're taking on this intermittent fasting. The meals, again, I'll put a list of foods that I eat. I was just looking at my my food log that I did. This was my log in 2016 September, so roughly 3 years ago. Jesus, I had all of the foods written out. These were the macros, so how many fats they had, how many carbs they were, and how much proteins they had, and how many calories. So this is a great guide. And like I said, if you can't really eyeball the amount of calories you have, because this is what that helped me do. I was weighing out all of my food for like a month, and I was weighing everything I ate. And what that allowed me to do later on was to be a good judge of how much food I'm taking in, how many calories are in the foods that I'm eating. And that helps you stay in a calorie deficit. And that's really important if we want to lose weight, because if we want to lose fat, we need to be in a calorie deficit, whether it be 50 calories, 100 calories, 200 calories, 300 calories, 500 calories. I wouldn't recommend to go over 500 calories because that's kind of unhealthy. But anywhere from 500 to 300 is good. And this is what that helped me do. So I got a whole list of foods that I eat. All of the foods are very healthy. Okay, they're all unprocessed foods. Okay, so I've got quinoa, sweet potato, avocado, feta, egg, almond, cashews, coconut oil, olive oil, onions, carrots, spinach, tomato, chicken, beef, lentils, banana, oats, apple, melon, broccoli, peppers, tuna, lamb, courgettes, aubergines, cauliflower, brown flour, buttermilk, maple syrup, honey, mackerel, sardines, salmon, peanut butter, blueberries, strawberries, dates. You know, these are all of the kinds of foods that I eat. They're all unprocessed foods. So as long as you're sticking to the unprocessed stuff and you're staying in a calorie deficit, you'll be fine. The reason I say to eat unprocessed food is because it doesn't contain any chemicals. You know, no additives, no preservatives, no E numbers, no colorings. All of this stuff is very important to be, you know, we've got to be aware of that stuff, of all of these chemicals. Because when we take in chemicals into the body by eating too many processed foods, what happens is our body holds on to fat. And the reason it holds on to fat is because those chemicals are actually damaging our internal organs. And what the fat does is it protects our internal organs from these chemicals. So it wraps itself around these chemicals to stop it from destroying our internal organs or damaging them. And so when we start detoxing, we start dropping fat because we start losing these chemicals in our body. So there's no need for that fat retention. So that's one of the reasons why if we struggle to lose fat and we think that we're healthy and we don't know why, what's happening, why aren't we losing the fat? Maybe it's because we're eating, you know, processed foods, foods that contain chemicals, E numbers, preservatives, flavor enhancers. If we're drinking too much Diet Coke. And it's been proven that drinking diet drinks, Coke Zero and, you know, Pepsi Max and whatnot, they contain aspartame. And aspartame actually changes our gut bacteria. And the way it changes it is it makes it hold on to sugar. So now it's trying to hold on to as much sugar as possible. It's starved of sugar, so it's trying to keep all of that sugar in the body. So it's taking all of those other foods that you're eating and it's holding on to all of that glucose, and that's causing us to store fat. So that's why we kind of don't want to drink too many diet drinks. Drink the real thing. Shouldn't drink too many of those in general. I hardly ever drink them because once I found out about the damaging effects it can have on us in terms of, well, the thing I just said about the gut bacteria and also about causing cancer and whatnot, I didn't really want to touch them. So if we keep them to a minimum and we drink water, fizzy water, tea, or we make our own drinks, right, our own lemonade and whatnot, then it's fine. So there's a few things that we should keep in mind, but all in all, that was my update. I will give you another update when I reach day 20. I seem to be doing quite all right. I don't seem demotivated at all to, you know, exercise daily and fast daily and not drink and whatnot, so it feels good. And I hope that this is insightful or motivating for you. I'm going to try and post some workouts and some meals and whatnot. If you look at my YouTube page, the majority of those meals are what I eat anyway. So they're there. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. If this video is helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video.